Your life will never be the same once you become rich, and that's a proven fact. Have you ever wondered why some folks always talk spitefully of wealthy people? Well, most of the time, it's because of the changes in their lives. Some people often say, so-and-so has changed, they're no longer the same person. And while this is often misinterpreted as pride, it may actually not be the case. You don't expect a new millionaire to live as they used to, nor act the same way as they always have. The truth is, money changes people, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. So in today's video, we'll talk about things that are bound to change once you enter the wealthy category. 1. Friends. Most people say that they would never change their friends. I mean, if you've known someone from kindergarten, it's impossible to even entertain the thought. But this is what happens. Over time, especially through your process of building wealth, you'll have less time for building relationships, as your focus will be solely on establishing yourself. You won't have time to hang out with your so-called friends, and over time, you will discover you have less and less in common. This becomes more prevalent when you get your breakthrough and become wealthy. You will realize you no longer have the same goals or even problems. Thus, you will slowly gravitate towards other rich people with whom you share common ground. And while you may still hang out with your friends, the dynamics of your relationship will never be the same. Over time, your new friends will take over. 2. Vacations. This one is pretty obvious, right? Once you're incredibly wealthy, the world becomes your playground. You will now have a broader range of options for destinations, since money is no longer a problem. You won't need to create a limited travel budget, as you may have in the past. Instead of making vacation plans 3 to 6 months in advance, you can decide to go anywhere at any given time. Paris? Check. Milan? Check. Bora Bora? Check. You can literally go anywhere without thinking twice about it. 3. You won't really care. Let me explain this clearly. Growing up with little money forces one to always seek approval from others. If you meet someone you like, you'll probably ask your close friends or family members what they think about them. This is what we call social validation. It's something most of us are conditioned to do. At work, you will be forced to seek validation from your supervisor, just so you can feel some sense of achievement. When your boss or supervisor doesn't recognize your achievement, we somehow feel like a failure. However, this isn't the case when you become self-sufficient, independent, and wealthy. Once you get there, you automatically stop caring about what others think, nor care much about their opinion on how you live your life. The most probable cause is when you get rich, many people will start sucking up to you, and it's likely that you won't need to impress anyone anymore. 4. Goals. When you're wealthy, your goals are totally different from the average person. For instance, your goal as a not-so-financially stable person would be to save enough money for a house deposit, or save enough money for your children's university. When you become rich, your goals change. The narrative of being successful changes. Instead of saving enough money for your house deposit, you'll be looking for suitable locations to buy more houses, or even investing in multi-family units. Having $1 million in the bank would be a normalcy, something that used to be a big deal in the past. Many millionaires shift from money goals and become more interested in creating generational wealth, significance, building influence, and even making a difference in order to leave a legacy on Earth. 5. Your assets and property. This is quite obvious. When you step into the millionaire sphere, you will upgrade your house, car, furniture, and you'll probably own your own companies. You'll have a diversified portfolio with different assets, such as stocks, bonds, and you'll probably also invest in multiple startups, which have high returns. 6. Everyone will want you. Have you ever wondered how life would be like as a hot young blonde? Well, once you're rich, you'll know exactly how it feels. Everyone will want to be around your presence. It will be as though you emit some form of human magnetic attraction. Even Jay-Z once said, "There's no such thing as an ugly billionaire." Women and men will flirt with you and will want to be with you. All your flaws will seem to disappear in front of their eyes. You will become a semi-god, and you will start noticing people treating you differently. Sometimes all this attention may not be good, as you could attract some people with ill intentions. Once you achieve a certain degree of wealth, it's almost inevitable to not get sued. Tell me of one billionaire who hasn't had a lawsuit against them. So if you're planning on being extremely wealthy, well, get used to this being your new reality. 7. Taxes. The tax man will visit you a lot more than they did when you were not so financially okay. It's not just your friends, family, and crude lawyers who will be after your money. Once you're wealthy, it's obvious your tax returns will increase. No one likes taxes. If you're earning, say, $40K a year, you'll obviously be bummed about that $8,000 that's deducted from your paycheck. Now can you picture a whole $8 million? As your earnings increase, so do your taxes. When you get to the point of paying millions in taxes, you'll obviously be very interested in finding ways of paying less. This is why rich people have personal accountants. The price you pay for a CPA could be worth millions. 8. What you consume. Now that you can afford more than ramen noodles and tuna, your palate will definitely change. You'll be more open to new options, particularly healthier ones. Your food life will revolve around organic this and organic that. You'll realize there's a lot more to life than KFC fried chicken and Taco Bell's nachos. Also, you'll spend less time in the kitchen and ordering takeouts, since chances are you'll have a full-time chef. So goodbye Subway and hello 5-star cuisines. 9. Things that make you happy. Does money buy happiness? The answer is yes and no. Money can help you buy things that could potentially make you smile, like a trip to the Maldives, a beautiful wedding, and so on. You get the lingo. But as you get richer, the things that would make you happy tend to change, and you begin to realize money can't buy them. For instance, when you don't have a lot of money, you probably don't have many experiences, so your first time in a Lambo would be an OMG moment. A pool in someone's backyard is quite a big deal too. When you're wealthy and have had all these experiences, they don't mean much anymore. What you will find most valuable are things that you probably took for granted when you were not so wealthy. This includes things like family time, great health, and authentic friendships. 10. Leaving a legacy. When you're poor, your focus is on making enough money to fund your next meal, or to pay off that loan or make rent, right? When you're wealthy, these things are no longer a problem. Your focus shifts, and you realize you won't live forever. Your mortality status kicks in, and you'll start questioning how people will remember you once you're gone. Instead of leaving a whole lot of wealth for your children and grandkids to blow, you start thinking of building foundations and leaving a legacy for your family name. This is why most wealthy people are quite philanthropic and have published books of their life stories. They just don't want to die and be remembered as that rich man or rich woman, but they want to leave behind a name that will last years after they are 6 feet under. This is why you'll find many wealthy people have built hospitals, charities, parks, and even universities. 11. Out of touch with reality. When you're wealthy, chances are you're not familiar with what happens within the rest of society. You'll be so wrapped up in your new life and with your new status that you won't be familiar with the happenings of the rest of the world. Remember, we also mentioned you'll lose many friends, most of which are not in your income bracket. You'll have no contact with people within the middle or lower classes, which will eventually lead you to be out of touch with reality. It's a big problem that the wealthy face. Even in the sitcom Arrested Development, there was once a wealthy man who asked his son, "You want a banana?" The son responded, "How much will it be? $10? This just highlights what happens when you become wealthy. You'll probably no longer shop for yourself, and you won't have a clue as to what basic things cost. As a result, most rich people aren't particularly popular in societies. They at times get the cold shoulder and are labeled as stuck up due to their ignorance of reality. So the point here is, it's of key importance for one not to lose touch with reality. 12. Less time. Most people think wealthy people have all the time in the world. I mean, they have all sorts of workers, have access to all services, and have managers to run their businesses. It's easy to believe that when you consider all the support they receive. But in reality, the truth could not be further. They actually have less time. You'll be surprised to find out that they have full schedules booked months in advance. Most wealthy people know where they're supposed to be over the next 30 days. They have it all planned out in their calendars. To wealthy people, time is everything. While it may be hard to make your first few millions, maintaining the growth in your acquired wealth may be even harder. It takes a lot of time and effort to maintain wealth and build more. For example, Taylor Swift once mentioned she had booked tours for the next 2 years. She had a full 2-year schedule booked in advance. To be wealthy and maintain that wealth, you must be willing to sacrifice that free time and put in hours of work. This is because it's much easier to lose wealth than to build it. You will no longer have a lot of free time. I guess that's why they say if you want to know if someone's wealthy, to see them, you have to make an appointment through their PA. 13. Your reputation becomes everything. When you're wealthy, your reputation becomes one of the most important things in your life. In the past, you would have been okay with posting a drunk image of yourself on social media, but when you're extremely rich, you probably won't do that. Once you've achieved a certain level of success, reputation becomes a whole lot more critical than it was before. The image becomes everything, and you'll only show the world what won't tarnish your brand. The reason behind this is when you're wealthy, you probably have partners, and your way of making money or your companies are linked to you. Once your reputation is tarnished, you may lose your connections, partners, and many people won't want to be associated with you. This is why rich people protect their brands at all costs, and will even go the extra mile to hire PR agents.